What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. In this video, we're going to talk about actually the best opener to exist. Now, there's basically two openers that are really good. One is for newbies, one is for advanced. In this one, I'm going to explain the best opener there is, regardless the level. And I'm also going to explain why this is the best opener. And yeah, without further ado, let's just jump into it. Because if you're the type of guy who just wants to have a conversation wherever he goes, perhaps it's to meet a certain guy because you want to network with him. Perhaps it's because you want to meet some girl that you find attractive, whatever. This video is for you. It's going to teach you exactly how to naturally open a conversation, immediately put the other at ease, make them feel at home, make them feel like you've been friends forever, and really have them open up and so that you connect with them. And the best way to go about this, it's not what you think. Because I know that there's a lot of coaches out there, dating coaches, and me including, we always teach very direct. We always teach, okay, you have to go in strong. And there's a reason we do that. The reason we go in strong is because a lot of you all are newbies. So you're new to this, and that means you're gonna have problem with showing intent. So what you're gonna find is if you don't go very strong, very direct, sure, you're gonna have conversations, but they're all gonna be friends. It's all gonna be like, oh, so nice to meet you. And maybe she texts, maybe she does reply, maybe she doesn't, but you're gonna be friend zoned because there's this lack of this, like, like this, that feeling. They need that. So that's a lot why we start with direct, because when you go direct, when you're like, yo, excuse me, you, what's your name? You're very cute. Now the intention is literally verbally on the table. So there's no misconception there. She understands immediately, okay, this guy wants to do boom boom ding ding with me. You get me? So she understands that. Where in the beginning, that's a very good tool, because what I want for you is I want you to become comfortable. I want you to become comfortable with expressing that feeling, that interest, that sexual, that arousal. Like, I want you to be able to shamelessly express that. That's why in the beginning, you go direct, so that you're becoming more comfortable with that energy. But here we come to the core of the video. In the end, eventually, what you want is you want to be able to have this energy, but not necessarily say it to her. You don't need to verbally express it. Ideally, what you do is you have a conversation on the surface, but underneath there's this there's this energy. You get me? So that is why the best opener, ultimately, in the end, is when you can do a situational opener. Now, what that means is you're gonna look at the situation, and mind you, this requires you to be present, to not be stuck in your head too much, because it's gonna require you to observe. Like, you have to look at the situation, observe, and find something where you can make a comment about. This is difficult for a lot of you because when you see a beautiful woman, boom, 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 and you have no idea what to do, you get overwhelmed. That's why I start with direct. But in the end, this is the best. You see a woman, you look at her, you observe anything that comes to mind, anything that you find interesting, outstanding, or like, okay, that's different, you comment. That's it. So if she's dancing like a fucking maniac, you look at her, you're like, oh, you're a fucking dancing maniac, aren't you? That's it. If she's wearing super, if she's wearing a red dress, you're like, you know what they say about people with red dresses, right? She's like, no, what did they say? And you think of something. If she is on her phone and deeply in her phone like this, you're like, oh, you seem so lost. Are you? I bet you have TikTok brain. The way you look at your phone, like, there must be just be going brain rot in there. Am I right? I'm just making things up on the fly. But you get the point. So it's about a situational opener. But that just is not enough in and of by itself because you need the right mental frame. Because if you're gonna walk up and you're like, you have TikTok brain, that's not gonna work. So what you need to have is you need to have a frame of assumed familiarity and giving, these two together. You need to assume like you've been best friends forever. That's the assumption. So when you say something like this, like she's been your friend for years, you can say whatever the fuck you want. You understand me? So that's the frame you're coming from. So if you see a woman and she's walking really fast, and then instead of saying like, "Hey, are you training for the marathon?" It's gonna be like, "What?" You're like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! You're training for a fucking marathon now? What's going on with you? What's the speed thing?" If the tonality, the tonality, the energy, the way I'm expressing myself, it's like we've known each other for years. And if your frame is strong enough, she'll fall into that. So now she's gonna have that feeling too, because in dating and general interactions, there's this law of state transference. What I feel, she feels. If I feel like we've been best friends forever, and for me this is completely normal, she's gonna feel the same thing. Now you want to use that principle. So bring up the feeling of familiarity, like she has been your friend for years. Like it's your best friend that you've had for years and years and years. Have that frame, then do the situational opener and watch where that's going to lead you, because it's going to open the conversation. Now you have a new challenge because you didn't open direct. You need to be able to show intent. How do you do this? And this is really why this works better than direct, because when you go indirect, I said, when you go direct, first thing, hey, you're cute, want to meet you. First thing in her mind, okay, approve or reject. She's gonna make a decision right then and there, approve or reject. Now, you're forcing her to make a decision on the spot. And autopilot, a lot of times, she's gonna say no just because, yeah, it's new. She's like, fuck, who's this guy? I don't know him. No. Where when you go indirect, you kind of like lure them in a conversation. It's more like an art. So when you just say something about the situation, she's like, oh yeah, that feels safe. It's just a guy saying something. She's like, oh yeah, she says something back. Now you have to work with what she's giving you, and as you're doing that, you need to start flirting. It needs to be obvious. Not obvious, like you don't want to go direct after going indirect, but you do have to make sure that the intent is clear. You can do that in a couple of ways. You can do that with your body language. You can do that with the look that you have in your eyes, with your facial expression. You can do it in a lot of ways. Mostly it's the vibe. Because if the vibe is right, if you're comfortable with expressing that, but you don't need to verbally say it to her, it's fine. She will understand. If I approach a woman from second one, she understands. Because when I approach a woman, I'm not like, oh, hi. When I approach, I'm like, yo, are you running a fucking marathon? What you doing? What's your name? And why are you running so fast? She knows this guy's flirting with me. I'm not saying it, but I'm luring her into the conversation, and in a very safe way where she can relax, but she knows, oh, this guy. Uh-huh, I get it. So there you have it. Most important thing of this video, three things. One, assume familiarity. Two, go indirect. If you're comfortable with going direct, you immediately switch to going indirect. Why you get comfortable with going direct? Because we want you to be comfortable with that energy of expressing yourself, of expressing interest, of showing intent. Once you've done that, you can go indirect, assume familiarity, go indirect, and with your vibe, with your look, with the way you're talking, with that energy that you became comfortable with, you're going to show intent throughout the conversation. In that way, she doesn't automatically reject you. She can be comfortable. She can get a sample of your personality. I mean, you're just saying stuff, saying stuff, saying stuff. She can become comfortable. She can relax. And in that way, in a very natural way, she can become attracted to you. Also, because you're not verbally saying it, you're not giving her the validation. And even though she feels that under the surface you're flirting, she's never sure. So that creates mystery, polarity, attraction, curiosity. And that is how you do it, guys. There you have it. Best opener ever from me for you. Very welcome. Any questions, drop them in the comments. And as always, if you like this content, subscribe and like, because then you'll see more of my videos. You won't be missing out on any of them, and there's a lot coming. So, see you in the next video.